What's going on, guys? Welcome to the 36th podcast. Let's call it the Shack podcast. It's the Shack number. But, we have a ton of good stuff to talk about. As you guys
Yep.
know, the trade deadline is coming up quickly, March 25th. So we'll talk
Mhm.
briefly about who we think are going to be, which players are going to be dealt by the time the trade deadline comes. The second topic, man, brought on by your guy, Kyle Kuzma. Should LeBron have more MVPs? At least 10, right? At least 10.
At
Um,
least, bro.
and the third topic, getting into a little March Madness talk. Who's gonna win it all? Most likely, we're gonna be wrong because this year it seems like brackets were busted in the first round.
Yeah.
So we'll see. And
Mhm.
then fourth topic, who do we think, or who do you think is gonna be the best players to be bought out? So as you guys know, trade deadline doesn't mean someone's gonna get traded. They might just get bought out.
Exactly.
And there are some very good names on the buyout market that should be watched by every team, or every
Mhm.
good team at least. And the
Yep.
last one, kind of a disgusting thing, but as many of you know, the women college basketball teams in March Madness have been treated very unfairly. And we're going to talk about that and give our thought on it.
Mhm.
But getting into the first topic and the trade deadline, who's the first player you think is going to get traded? Or who do you think is most likely?
I mean, honestly, like before today, like I had these in my notes. Like the very first person that I thought I was going to be traded, like I said before today, was Bradley Beal. Even like no matter what and how he says how he loves playing with Westbrook, I feel like he still wants out. You know, he's done what he can for the Wizards.
Yeah.
He's played there as long as possible, and now without John Wall, I think he just wants to change the scenery. But I mean, who knows, right? They're winning games now, and they're not the worst team anymore. So maybe that could be a change of heart. But recently, like San Jose native Aaron Gordon, he wants out too. He
Yeah.
informed the Magic that he wants out. But to round out my list, I got AG now, obviously, at two, and then I have Zoe because he's just been linked to every team, and Zoe is
Yeah,
Lonzo Ball for those who don't know,
yeah,
but he's been linked to every team. The Warriors. I've seen an edit of him in Chicago with Zach LaVine in the backcourt. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy because I didn't know like this many team like wanted like Zoe because of coming out of college. Like, not many people were praising his like defensive tendencies and his IQ, but all of a sudden, they can see what he does. So a lot of people want him, and so he's even been linked to the Clippers, right? And then I also have Kelly Oubre, but I feel like you guys are gonna keep him.
yeah,
I don't know. It's not looking likely that he's gonna get traded. And my wild card is Tyler Hero.
yeah,
Um, Honestly, like Tyler Hero, like I have a friend who's a diehard Miami Heat fan, and he agrees that he hasn't made the jump. If you think about it, like last season, his rookie year, like obviously, like he came out like gunning, and like he showed in the bubble that he could be a superstar. And so, like, I can honestly say that I've been paying close attention to him because I have him on fantasy, and like his numbers aren't to where I think people expected it to be, and for me as well. His sophomore season like hasn't been anything crazy, and I remember when he was linked to trades surrounding Oladipo, and people were going crazy, like, "Oh no, like we wouldn't want to give that up. We'd rather keep him and Duncan." But now it's just their responses are looking like they were wrong. Like I feel like Miami would definitely trade him, and it's a disappointment because Tyler Hero has so much upside. I mean, it's only a second season, who knows? But yeah, that's my wild card in my list for potential trades.
I think with Tyler Hero, it's tough because right now they don't really have a point guard.
True.
Kendrick Nunn is essentially a shooting guard. He's just a
Yep.
scoring guard. Goran,
Exactly.
incredibly old at this point.
Yeah.
Even though he still puts up some numbers, he's getting to that point where he's aging. And
Exactly.
for Tyler Hero, it's like he's had to take on a bigger offensive load, especially with Jimmy Butler out so long.
Yeah.
Um, I think he's gonna figure it out
Hmm.
because he has way too much confidence to, you know, just fizzle out
Yeah.
and fade away.
Yeah.
Um, but it kind of seems like they prioritize Duncan over
Yeah.
Tyler, and which is
Hmm.
interesting because Tyler Hero's 20, I believe, 19 or
Yep.
20.
He can't even drink yet legally.
No, he can't. Duncan is
Yeah.
26, I
Hmm.
believe. So
Yep.
it's interesting that they'll prioritize him more. And even when Duncan is having a down season compared to his last year, where he had like 45% from the three, and
Yeah.
this year he's only shooting 39, which is still really good.
Yep.
But a lot of teams like Duncan Robinson. There's a certain reason he's a really good player.
Clay
Um,
Thompson, bro.
he he's pretty good, but I do have Kelly Oubre on my list because I've seen that they're trying to. I saw Monty Poole said that they're not shopping him, but they're
Yeah.
listening to offers.
Yeah.
Um, he's a very sought after player just because he's on an expiring deal.
Hmm.
Um, and he had a really good February.
Yeah.
20 points, 50 something percent from the field, 43 from three. Um,
Yeah.
he's come back to earth as of recently. I think it has to do with his wrist injury that he injured back in early March.
Hmm.
Um, he's had a good season. 14.9 points, 43 from the field, 30 from three, 5.8 rebounds, and a steal a game.
Yeah.
Good season, but from what last season was in Phoenix, not great.
Yeah.
I don't know who we could get for him because in my mind he's not worth too much. But obviously I'm
Yeah.
not in the trade rooms. I don't know who they want.
Yeah.
Uh, it seems like Wiggins is pretty much off the table. I'm cool with that. He's been playing a lot better as of
Yeah.
recently.
Yep.
So we'll see. My second guy is Andre Drummond.
Mm.
I'm not sure why the Cavs thought they could trade for Drummond last year for a second rounder and then flip him for a first rounder uh, and a good player. Not sure.
Yeah.
I saw a report they're expecting a second rounder in return. So
Yeah.
they're gonna. It's tough. I don't know what they were thinking, but
It backfired, man. Whatever plan they had, it backfired.
I don't know if they thought like, oh, we'll get him for a second rounder. Then they'll see him put up the same numbers and be like, oh,
Yeah.
he's pretty good. I don't know,
Yeah.
man. And
Yeah.
then the obviously I have Aaron Gordon as he requested a trade. I guess
Hmm.
he requested it back in February, but it came out now that he requested it.
Wow. Yeah.
And I'm not super high on Aaron Gordon.
Yeah.
Uh, I think he fits on certain teams. I think he fits very well on the Warriors because of free flowing offense. But I mean, he's shooting 40% from three, but we've seen him do this before. He hits like he was hitting like 50% one season, and then he dropped all the way down to 36 by the end. So
Exactly.
I don't think he's consistently there.
Yeah.
Um, Victor Oladipo is my last guy. Victor Oladipo is a guy that doesn't want to be anywhere that's not Miami, right? He
Exactly. He
wants
made it
to be in
known.
Miami.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because these rumors didn't start until after he rejected that contract extension, right?
Yeah.
So that's probably what it has to do with it, why the Rockets are shopping him because they know they
Yeah.
can't trade, like they can't sign him for longer.
Can't
But
keep him. Yeah.
yeah, there's no point. And no team's going to want a 1 year rental unless it's a really good team. And a really
Yeah.
good team's not going to forfeit their future plus a good player for a guy that's going to be there for one season.
Exactly.
And, you know, I can't think of the last time where a trade helped the team to the point where they were successful in the playoffs. You know, most of the time it takes a while to get used to your new team. The
Yeah.
only time I can think of a trade helping a team is probably the Cavs back in, what was it, 2017, 2018, where they traded everyone but LeBron basically.
Yeah.
Had a whole new core, made it to the
Yeah.
finals and lost, but
Yeah.
that's the only
Or
time I can think of it, right?
Toronto.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. Yeah. But they're already established. That's the
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah.
it's so unlikely that you're gonna get a good player and he's gonna play up to that ability. I think James Harden is a guy
Yeah.
that he fits seamlessly in with the Nets.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. I think it's gonna be a really interesting trade deadline. But they said the buyout market is actually hindering the
Yeah.
the trades because there are
Yeah.
some big names on the buyout market.
Yep.
But we'll see. I'll let you answer this one first. But should LeBron
Yeah.
have 20 MVP? Oh, sorry, 10. 10 MVP.
I mean, honestly, bro, like I don't think he should have 10 MVPs. I definitely think just going off of what I've seen so far from my notes alone, definitely two more MVPs. The two more MVPs I'm talking about is just last season. I feel like last season he definitely deserved it over Giannis. Um, Especially with what he did. And I get it that the Lakers got Anthony Davis, but in order to, play through a lot of what he did with, the pandemic, acclimating a new person to the team, bringing in a whole new team pretty much, right? I think he deserved it and obviously leading the Lakers to, the championship. And the other season is 2018 when, like you said, like they got a whole new core. But if you think about it, that whole new core was what George Hill, Jordan Clarkson, Larry Nance, and he took that to the finals. And
Yeah.
he almost won game one. You know what I mean? And I get like the regular season is for the MVP, not the playoffs. And, even that, right? So they had what D Wade, IT, Jay Crowder in the beginning, D Rose. They had like, on paper, they looked really good, but they weren't performing up to
Yeah.
standard. And so they got rid of everybody. And just that alone, they were able to transition from one team to the next all within one season
Yeah.
because of LeBron. So I think 2018 and last season was when he really deserved it. But doing my research of his numbers and times where they said that he could have gotten robbed, like for example, 2000, 2008, 2007, 2008, to Kobe Bryant. Come on, man, that was Kobe's year. You could
Yeah.
argue that Kobe could have more MVPs as well. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then also, his first season with Miami, where Derrick Rose won the MVP. Derrick Rose definitely deserved that MVP.
Yeah.
So there was just no way. But I don't know about 10, but two for sure, two more for sure. And him going down this season, I think it might make his case stronger, but I don't think he's gonna win it again. I
Yeah.
think it's either Jokic or Embiid's award to lose, honestly.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
yeah, so definitely two more for me personally. And this is coming from somebody that, doesn't really like LeBron. I just like him because he's on my team. And obviously he's good leading my team. I'm more of a Kobe guy for those who don't know. But yeah, just two more MVPs that he should have won for me.
I have one more MVP. It's the 04-05 season where Steve Nash won.
Hmm.
LeBron averaged 27 on 47% from the field, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. Nash averaged 15 and a half on 50% from the field and 11 and a half assists.
Yeah. Hmm.
That's a pretty big difference
Exactly.
in terms
Yeah.
of numbers. So I think LeBron should have won it that year.
Yeah.
I've seen 05-06 where Nash won it again, and I think he
Yeah.
averaged 18 and 10.
Yeah.
I think LeBron averaged like 30 points that season. Kobe
Yeah.
averaged 35. So that's
Yeah.
Kobe's MVP, not
Exactly.
Nash's or LeBron's. It's Kobe's.
Exactly.
I've seen Steph's first one, 14-15, come into question. I'm
Yeah.
rolling with Steph. I'm a Steph guy, but
Hmm.
they were the best team in the NBA. I think. No, I don't know if they were the number one seed, but he carried a team that was not supposed to be there to the
Yeah.
finals. So
Yeah.
to me, that means a lot. But I'm
Yeah.
very biased to the Warriors, so can't listen to me on that. But I hope Kyle Kuzma was exaggerating
He
when
probably
saying
was,
10
man.
more. But Kuz
Yeah.
says some weird stuff
Hmm.
after any
Always.
good game that he has. He has a good game. He says, "Oh yeah, Jesus can't guard me. Oh, I
Mhm.
fucking LeBron."
Yeah.
He's got to stop.
Yeah.
He has these really good games. Says something weird, and it just goes back to normal.
Yeah. So he only makes my case stronger for get Kuz off my team. You know what I mean? Another reason. There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a weird guy.
Exactly. Exactly.
You're stuck with him as your number one option for 3 to 4 weeks. So
I know. Tell me about it, bro. Give me Wanamaker instead. Oh my god.
okay, oh yeah. I don't know if you want that. You don't want to see contested layups into like 3 big men,
Hey,
and then yeah,
I'd rather have that than somebody saying that Jesus can't guard him.
you're not wrong. You're not wrong about that. But a little March Madness. Who are you
Yeah,
taking to win it all?
bro, come on, man. Nah,
Tills
honestly,
got y'all.
I'm gonna keep wearing Duke gear until the end of the tourney because I feel so bad that they're not there. But realistically speaking, for those who follow me on social media, I do have Gonzaga taking it all. I want to be like Zion and say if Duke's not in it, then I'm not watching. But obviously, it's still hoops. I love hoops, so I got Gonzaga. They look like they're the most complete team in the whole tourney, and like knock on wood, like they were never on upset watch for me personally.
Yeah.
They're just running through team, and like I understand that their conference was weak compared to the ACC, the Big Ten, um, but Big East. But you know what? Like they're just too balanced. And then leading the charge is Jalen Suggs, who I think is the number one pick. Him and Kate are going to be fighting for that. Whoever is in the lottery, gets the number one pick. But yeah, Jalen Suggs, like man, like leading Gonzaga, it's just crazy. And then they have these other, I'm sorry, I don't really know names. They're not due, so I don't take the time to know the name. But I think his name's Kispert or something like
Corey
that. Like,
Kispert.
yeah, like my God, bro, like
Dude
that
can
guy,
shoot.
he can shoot. He's a dog too. He
Yeah.
competes, and Mark Few, I think that's his name, the coach. He's always been a solid coach. Like he's always coached Gonzaga to solid, like, tournament resumes. And, he's never really gone through the hump. Even teams with Rui and like even teams with what do you call this? Karnowski, that big center that they had, and Sabonis, like they could never make it because, obviously like Duke was in the way for one of those teams. But I think this is their season, you know what I mean? And it's not looking like anybody can touch them, with all the competition left. I just think Gonzaga is just they're gonna dominate their way unless, like I said, knock on wood, they have a Kentucky season and then they choke towards the end. Man, I hope not, but yeah, for the most part, I got Gonzaga.
Let me just say, I don't watch a ton of college hoops, but I
Yeah.
watch a lot of the top prospects.
Hmm.
Um, I'm rolling with Oral Roberts.
Hmm.
No, I'm just kidding.
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm going with
Hey, man.
Gonzaga. I'm going with
Okay.
Gonzaga. Uh, I really like Jalen Suggs.
Hmm.
I'm hoping he slides to 4 or 5 for the
4 or 5.
Warriors.
Start praying, bro.
But with that being said, through their
Yeah.
first game, I think they won 98-55. Um,
Hmm.
that's insane.
Yep.
And to make it even more insane, Jalen Suggs didn't even have a good game. I think he had
Yeah.
8 points on 2 of 6 shooting. So if you can win without your best player playing up to that level,
Yep.
you're in a good spot. And
Yep.
especially winning by like what, 40, 43, something like that. That's
Just
insane.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that guy Corey Kispert,
Yeah.
he's really good. I know the Warriors are looking at him, so
Yeah.
I'm hoping we get him too. Uh,
Yeah.
but I think this is a good opportunity for Jalen Suggs to solidify him as the number one pick. With Cade
Yeah.
Cunningham getting bounced in the second round,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Cade struggling through those
He
first two
did.
games. I think
He did.
he had 10 field goals on like
Yeah.
35 attempts.
Yeah.
He struggled, which is probably it makes sense. OSU didn't have a great team. It
They
was pretty
didn't.
much just Cade. Uh,
Yeah.
and it shows how good Cade was this whole
Yeah.
season.
Yep.
Uh, I think they'll battle out for 1 and 2 this season. This is a very deep draft class, at least top heavy wise. There's
Yeah.
some really good prospects. So I'm excited for the draft. Cade
Hmm.
Cunningham, Jalen Suggs, Jonathan Kuminga, Jalen Green,
Yep.
ton of good guys this season.
Exciting draft. Finally. No, I'm just kidding.
Last season, it was
Yeah.
cool, but this season, when Minnesota's pick drops to 4, Jalen Suggs, he's gonna come to the Warriors, man. Just wait and see.
Yeah.
Unless we deal it, you never know.
Yeah. You actually, you never know, right? You never
I
know.
really have no idea anymore. But on to the next topic. Who do you think will be the best players to be bought out, and where will they go?
I mean, for me, the top one is Andre Drummond. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He just makes the most sense. But I think no matter which players that we say for this particular topic, there's only three teams that they can be linked to, man. It's the Clippers, the Lakers, or the Nets.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
pretty much.
Unfortunately, like I would want other teams to potentially try to buy into it, but it's up to the players at the end of the day where they want to sign, obviously, right? But it's just if it's not the Lakers, the Clippers, or the Nets, it's not anywhere else. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
At one point, it used to be the Warriors, right, or the Cavs, but now it's just those three. So I got Andre Drummond. Hopefully, he doesn't go to the Nets, because obviously the Lakers need him. But I think Dan Gilbert right now, he knows that Andre Drummond is going to go to obviously a contender. So I think he's just holding out on him right now,
yeah,
which is kind of immature, but he can do that. And then I also have JJ Redick. Um,
yeah.
he has a history with Van Gundy, but I feel like he couldn't build himself a role with what they're trying to establish there. You know what I'm saying? And so like I feel like he wants to go to a different contender because you remember that streak that he had. He's always made the
Playoffs.
playoffs, and then
Yeah,
last season, you know what I mean? Like he couldn't go to the playoffs because the Pelicans didn't make it. So I think as little as that sounds, I feel like that bothered him. So now he wants to go back to the playoffs. So I got him, and then I have Mo Bamba because obviously he's been linked, to the
yeah.
Lakers. And then like the one person that I'm really hoping no one said anything about him is Otto Porter Jr. You know,
Yes.
like I'm really hoping that Palinka can lure him away. But yeah, I'm surprised nobody said anything about Otto Porter. And like, he's still with the Bulls, and like you always hear Zach LaVine, Zach LaVine, Zach LaVine, but nobody else. You know what I mean? Which is understandable. But yeah, Otto Porter Jr. He had an incident during this whole pandemic, obviously, where he was like drinking at the mouth. You know what I mean, from a bottle, but being unsafe. But at the end of the day, he's still a good player. Good defender,
Yeah.
good shooter. He can complement any pieces. Even with the Nets or the Clippers. So yeah, these guys like I hope that the Lakers could just get one because honestly, we need everybody's help right now. LeBron and AD, who is that? You know what I mean? But yeah, so that's who I got. But most likely Andre Drummond because he's the most obvious choice. So yeah.
And it's pretty weird. We've never seen players of Drummond's
Yeah.
caliber even being considered to be bought out.
Exactly.
And it's honestly because he puts up a lot of empty stats.
Yeah.
He puts up those 17 and 13s, but he doesn't win games. He's
Mm-hmm.
almost never been on a winning team. Granted, he's been on Cleveland and Detroit, but
Yeah.
it's just he's never progressed to a winning team.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see. And I did see that he averages 3 turnovers a game as a big.
Yeah.
So
As a big. Yeah.
that's kind of weird to me, but it is what it
Yeah.
is. I actually have
Yeah.
Otto Porter as well. I've heard him being rumored to be bought out because he has like a damn near max contract at
Mm-hmm.
27 mil for whatever
Yep.
reason. Um, I know he was linked to the Warriors for a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that now, but
Yeah.
I would think he signs with the Lakers because AD and LeBron out, they need a wing defender.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know, it's kind of rumored that he might be related to Wilt Chamberlain because he looks
Otto
exactly like
Porter.
him. If
That's
you,
insane. He kind of does though.
it's a conspiracy theory, but if you
Yeah.
look at it, they look exactly the same. And Wilt Chamberlain was a
Yeah.
big partier. Otto
Yeah.
Porter is a gigantic partier, I guess. Didn't
He
see that
is.
coming.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why. Maybe he wants to go to LA to be like his long lost father. You never know. And it would
Hey,
make
more.
sense.
Yeah, it
'Cause
would make sense.
Wilt said he slept with like over 1,000 women, something like that. So
Exactly. You never know. You never.
he
He does
really
kind of look like him though.
he
He does
does.
kind of look like
He
him. Yeah.
does. But another guy, a guy who I think will go to the Lakers, Kevin Love.
Oh, yeah.
I
I
don't know.
heard Kevin Love too.
I
Yeah.
know that they are going to buy him out as soon as he's healthy, but he's never healthy.
He's never
So,
healthy. Yeah.
like, I don't know if he's just sitting out to stay on the team and say like, "Don't buy me out until I'm healthy," and he just never gets healthy because right now he's dealing with illness,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure what's going on, or they're just trying to trade him and wait till the last minute and buy him out. Um,
Yeah.
I know. I don't know if you saw this, but Colin Sexton liked the tweet saying that Kevin Love is robbing the Cavs of cap space.
I did see that.
Yeah,
Man, that's
not great.
crazy.
And we've seen
Yeah.
that they've argued on the court before, so
Yeah.
I'm sure they don't have a great relationship.
Hmm.
Um, it's kind of weird because the Cavs wanted so much in return for Love like just a season ago.
Yeah.
They wanted like a first round pick. They thought he was still
Yeah.
worth that, and now he's
Hmm.
gonna be bought out because there's stinginess, you know.
Yeah.
And he's on a gigantic contract, 35
He
million.
is.
So I'm not sure. Like the Cavs don't really have a plan. They're kind of just
They're winging it, dude.
yeah. They really they're not like any other team. They don't have a plan. They
Yeah.
got really lucky with a couple good picks. Um,
Hmm.
that Jared Allen kind of fell right into their lap.
Yep.
Darius Garland is kind of getting it going now. Colin Sexton looks like
Yeah.
a future star.
Yep.
So it's interesting to see that with the team that has been so bad with management can be
Hmm.
so good at picking players and just having bigs fall into their laps for some reason,
Yep.
It's weird, but
Yeah.
I would assume he goes to the Lakers because if they strike out on Drummond, that's a big that can shoot, stretch the floor, kind of play the AD role on the offensive end.
Yeah.
Defensively, he's a big body that can rebound, but
Yeah.
he's like AD. Can he stay healthy? Probably not.
Exactly. Probably not.
So,
Yeah.
but the nice thing is if they get a guy like Kevin Love, he knows his role. He's been on LeBron's team. He knows exactly what he needs to do.
Hmm. True.
But to the final topic, what is going on with the NCAA and the difference between men and women amenities? So, what do you
Man,
think?
bro, it's just disrespectful. You know what I mean? Like, over the course of the days, unfortunately, I don't remember her name, but she's an Oregon guard who released footage of what it looks like to be a women's basketball player in college right now for the March Madness games. And you can see that there's like a huge discrepancy of what they're, what they have. Like weights, like I think before they fixed it, they just had weights and yoga mats,
Yeah,
and that was it. And they weren't even like a complete set. And then like you look at the men, they have socially distanced like stations where they can lift, they can get cardio in, a lot of equipment. Just it was just noticeably like different. And it's disappointing because like I said, I've seen both sides, and the argument that most people are trying to justify this decision was that men's college hoops brings in more revenue. And okay, that might be the case, but regardless of that, you should still be able to provide for the women's, because the NCAA itself makes a lot of money.
billions
And
of
what a
dollars.
billions of dollars, and they don't even pay these players. And what about, that's true of men's college who's bringing in more revenue, but what about when UConn was dominating?
Yeah,
UConn was dominating women's hoops. A lot of people were watching UConn, right? And so they were giving the same treatment back then. So I feel like they should have never needed to fix it, because it should have been fair from the get go. Um, and even it doesn't stop at the weight room, and it doesn't stop with like exercise equipment. It goes all the way to their foods.
yeah.
Like the men have buffets, and like the women have like a plate. You know what I mean? It's just like
Frozen
it's just
meals too.
frozen meals. Yeah, and it's just like disappointing because we're at that point. We're at 2021. Like we're supposed to be definitely more equal, but what this shows is that we still have much room to grow and to get better. And I was watching Jay Billis talk about this the other day, and like he said that the NCAA president wasn't even at the forefront of this, and he had the vice president deal with everything, which is crazy because you're the president. You're supposed to be at the forefront. You're supposed to be the one saying, hey, we made a mistake. We need to fix it, doing this and all that. But he was hiding. He didn't even release a statement, none of that. And I looked into it, and like it's just crazy because women definitely deserve better. They deserve to be respected. And if you're a hooper, like I retweeted this the other day, I forgot who said, if you're a hooper, then you respect all hoop, like
Yeah.
man, woman, anything, anybody, all levels, even the Special Olympics for all that matter. It's
Yeah.
all exciting, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's just disappointing because this should have been happening in the first place.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Like the
Yeah,
women, the men got like a shitload of merch.
they
Like
did.
I'm talking like hats, bottles, backpacks. They got a
Yep,
hat, and I mean I understand
yep,
that. They got a T-shirt, they got towels, they got everything you want. They got personal care, they got deodorant, all that stuff.
everything,
Women got a
everything.
scrunchie, a hat,
Yeah,
a sling bag that looked cheap, two
yeah,
bottles,
hmm,
and an umbrella, and some
yeah,
socks.
yeah,
And why would you? Why is it such a big difference? This
yeah,
is like stuff that costs like $20, maybe like $5 for you to make. I get
yeah,
there's a ton of players, but if you're gonna hold men's and women's March Madness, you have to make it equal. Did they
exactly.
think it wasn't gonna get released? Like social media is
Yeah,
a thing.
yeah,
So that on its own is disgusting.
yeah,
And one of the worst parts is that one of the best hoopers out there, Paige Buchers on UConn, is
hmm,
one of the best hoopers, men's or women's, out of the whole
exactly.
tourney. So
Yep,
she should be bringing in a ton of money because she is a hooper. She's
yep.
nice.
Front page news right there. Yeah,
Yeah, she could play with the men and she'd
yeah,
dominate, you know?
she really could. Yeah,
Um, and like their reason for it all, there's no space. So the
but
women get
there's
like
a ton of
like
space.
they show like a little cubicle and it's like that's all you get.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
there's two gigantic spaces right behind you.
exactly. Yeah,
It's
it's just
bullshit.
it is. And like another thing I want to say is like you said, there's more players, right? But there's more players for the men. There's
Yeah.
not as much teams for women. That's what people are quick to understand or forget to understand. And if you think about it, with that said, since they have less players, they should be able to give them more
Yeah.
products. But instead, they're able to give more stuff to the men, even though there's 64 teams compared to like the women's like more than half of that. It's not even half, I think. And I saw a tweet. I think it was you that retweeted or liked it. It was talking about how women don't even get childcare
Yeah.
for single moms or
Yep.
like those who have kids, which is crazy because like that should be something that they should provide, especially if they're gonna give up what they're going through, especially school, and live in this bubble for March Madness. So
Yeah.
I just think that's unfair as well.
And it's like if you're going into this and you're in a bubble,
Yeah,
how are their teams still getting COVID if it's a
exactly.
bubble, you know?
Hmm. Yep.
And like going back to like the women coaches is like, how did you not plan for that? You didn't plan
Hmm.
for women coaches to be treated equally. Yeah, you gotta get like healthcare and like babysitting. That's not hard,
It's not. It's
you
really
know.
not.
And
Yeah.
like women coaches are slowly making into the men's scene and getting into the NBA as they
Yeah.
should.
As they
Um,
should.
and it's just like the NCAA kind of showed like they're pretty bad. You know, it's kind of been a rumor that they've been this big corporation, even though they're not a corporation. And it's a sorry
Yeah.
excuse for misogyny. It's bad. I've never liked the NCAA, and I'm happy that the top guys are going to the G League, playing for, the Jonathan Kumingas, Jalen Greens, Isaiah Todds, even
Yeah.
going overseas like RJ Hampton.
Hmm.
I think you're going to see it more and more. Uh, I think the NCAA is definitely going to feel it now after this
Oh
because
yeah.
it's pretty embarrassing. They're getting called out by all the NBA players, the top dogs. We saw
Hmm.
LeBron, we saw Curry, we saw a
Yeah.
ton of players calling them out. So I hope
Yeah.
they feel it. And I don't even think they fixed the situation with the weights. I think Dick's Sporting Goods did.
Yeah. It wasn't
So
even them. Yeah.
they didn't even have the guts to be like, okay, we'll fix it. They're like, I don't know what to
Yeah.
do. Just send
You
them more
got
weight.
us. Yeah.
It's like,
You got us,
ah,
but we're not gonna do anything.
thanks
Like,
for catching us, man. That's cool.
yeah,
It
exactly.
took them getting exposed
Yeah.
with
That's the sad part.
like we have all these cameras on our phones everywhere, and
Yeah.
you didn't think, oh, bro, this weight set really nice. These yoga mats, 10 yoga mats, ooh, that's gonna do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's
And some
disgusting.
of these players, they're dating college hoopers, like men and women date each other. So
Yeah,
obviously, they're gonna show each other through Snap, IG, or whatever. They're gonna show them, hey, this is what we got. What about you guys? And that should have been right there. It's just they got to be with the times, man. And like that this gender thing is just, it got to stop, because like it got to be equal. That's all it is. It's not asking for much, especially when, like I said, the biggest thing is women's have less teams and less players. They should be able to provide for that. So that just goes to show how biased they are, because there's more men, more teams, more personnel, and they're accommodating to them as opposed to doing it for the women. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's just the NCAA kind of shows that they're not a good place. Maybe this forces them to pay their players. You never
yeah,
know. I'm hoping that
yeah.
it finally happens, because that's the only way they're going to keep it going at this point.
Mm-hmm.
They're lucky they got the Cade Cunninghams and the Jalen Suggs,
Oh
because I
yeah,
don't think they're going to get them now after this. But I could be wrong.
yeah.
But that's going to do it for our 36th podcast.
Marcus Smart.
I'm trying to think of anyone else other than that, but I think it's just those are the two that come off my mind. Shaq and
uh,
Marcus Smart.
Rasheed Wallace.
Oh, that's digging deep.
Yeah, 36.
But this is a good one, and I hope you
Yeah,
guys like it. Be sure to like,
yeah.
comment, and subscribe. Our social medias are down in the description, so check us
Yep.
out. But see you guys in the next one.